What do we end up doing is we end up creating these environments where now there's tension between sales and marketing, and it doesn't have to be like that. What's up, everyone? George Soto here. I wanted to take a quick second because I got kind of a bone to pick with go-to-market teams, particularly around our favorite topic, sales assets or sales collateral. Please, for the love of God, stop making generic PDFs and expecting sales to use it. Sales is all about context and relevancy. We spend quite a bit of time trying to, if we're doing it right, trying to figure out how to resonate with the prospect or customer in a way that is very specific to them. And so if you think about it, we're going to do stuff like discovery calls and then have to generate follow-ups, right? So let's actually talk about this for a second. I get off a call as a SDR or an AE, depending on what I'm tasked with within that organization. And if I've done the call properly, I've done discovery, which, by the way, we're always doing discovery. But let's just assume this is the first call. I write a personalized email, literally looking at my notes or listening to my gong or chorus calls, right, to understand the responses to my discovery questions. And then I craft this wonderfully personalized follow-up email that is literally specific to them and to that conversation. And then I have this content that's some generic PDF that I attach to it that literally doesn't speak to the features or pain points that I know it has to. So what do I do as a salesperson? I either never use it and I just ignore all that great content that marketing has put together in my repository, Dropbox, whatever, Google Drive, etc., or other systems out there. Or I take pieces of it and create my own assets. And what happens there, I'm sending out positioning that's old. I don't have the latest information. I'm sending out logos or all kinds of stuff that are featuring like churned customers. I mean, it can get pretty messy, right? And if you think about outbound, as SDRs or AEs, we rarely send sales collateral or assets. Certainly don't do personalization on them because it takes too long and there's a lot of issues there. But also, I think one of the biggest issues is that it's a higher risk of wasted time with outbound, right? Because at least with a follow-up to a sales call that I just made, I know that the prospect is engaged and I was able to determine whether they're qualified or not. So this is a reality. This is certainly, we've done hundreds of calls with go-to-market teams, product marketers, sales leaders, sales reps, ICs, and this is a consistent theme that we hear all the time. So you ask yourself, why does it continue to happen? Well, I think there's a lot of different reasons. It doesn't have to happen. But I got to say also, go-to-market teams, stop blaming designers too or using designers as scapegoats, right? And what I mean is we know how it is. Unless you have a designer that is specifically dedicated to supporting a rep nearly at a 1-to-1 ratio, there's no way that a designer or design team is going to be able to keep up with creating assets that the sales rep will use for each conversation, right? And if you use a PDF type system or a similar system that's hard to edit, hard to customize, all these sort of things, then you are basically locking out the ability to personalize those assets, even if they are templates, for a variety of reasons, in a way that actually resonates with the prospect that salesperson is speaking to. So again, it's not our designer's fault. It's easy. I actually think this is one of the issues, is that it's easy as a marketer. And by the way, I've been there, right? Where I'm like, well, you know what? I sent that PDF or that deck to go and be designed by the design team and they're swamped, or the actual designer is swamped. and it's going to take a week, right? That just doesn't cut it within a sales motion. That might be okay for marketing, one-to-many type scenarios, that white paper, those sort of things that you don't necessarily have the time constraints that we do when we're doing sales. But when it's specifically sales collateral, we need that thing yesterday, right? And then what do we end up doing is we end up creating these environments where now there's tension between sales and marketing, and it doesn't have to be like that.